Welcome to Great Gadgets and Gear. Alright, yes, cooler number 2 is an Igloo. And spoiler alert, cooler number 3 is going to be an Igloo. I like them. They're really good coolers when you balance everything. Features, colors, sizes, price. They've been doing a really good job there, so I'm going to be sticking with them. There's tons of better quality coolers. There's Yetis, there's Kongs, there's all kinds of them. They're also really extreme in price. I'm not going to pay, $450, $500 for a cooler, especially that you're going to have to keep under guard or it's going to get ripped off. So anyway, I picked this cooler up. This is the Igloo BMX 25. I picked it up visiting a friend. And it's at Gander Mountain. I think they call it Camping World now. You can pick these up on Amazon, though. And they vary in price depending on the colors that you choose. Because they do come in 6 different colors. And obviously the one in front of you is the gray-blue for $66. There's a green-orange for $70. A sandstone red for $70. A white and blue for $70. A canal blue, which is like a... I don't know, kind of I'd say like a royal blue type, almost the same color as the Latches here, for $56. And then I got this really weird funky color aquamarine green colored one for $70. They come in the 25 quart, a 52 quart, and a 72 quart. So, and those also vary in price. So just some quick stats here. It's 19.58 by 15.69 by 13.24 inches, and it weighs 11.3 pounds. Not too bad. Okay, so I got this for use in my kayak. So we'll take a look at it real quick. Alright, so you got a 3-piece handle. You got the 2 pillars on the side. They look like they're kind of pop riveted in. There's no screws, so once they break, unless you can figure out a way to get those out of there and put replacement bolts in there, it's going to be a warranty issue. And then you have the top piece that runs across. Now on the top of it, it's plastic. On the bottom, the blue part is a rubbery feeling, which is really comfortable in the hand. It is not a locking position handle. It does move, but when you're in the center position, it's really good. It's a friction style like their tops. It doesn't swing or move around or anything, so it's been really good for that. On the top, you have measurements up there in centimeter or inches, just a rough estimate guide for fishing. Has some indentations, probably just for aesthetic looks. And then their product thing showing it's a BMX 25. Most of their coolers are made in the United States, so which is awesome, made in USA. This one is made in China, so I was a little bummed about it, but it was a really nice looking cooler. And from the product reviews I watched before I purchased it, it did really well with ice retention. It'll hold 37 cans. They claim 96 hours, 4 days, and 90-degree heat in controlled conditions, so probably not, out in the blazing sun. And a 3-year warranty, so that's pretty nice right there. Okay. So now your latches are these rubber latches. You just grab, kind of pull down, pull up. And sorry my camera work is so cruddy here. It's trying to balance not being too close and not being so far I can't reach the cooler. Alright. So you got a raised brand name here in the front. It's just painted on. It's not metal. It's not a sticker. So I'm sure the paint will wear off, but no big deal. Underneath the black trim, you got a diamond little kick plate thing. It's kind of neat looking on a cooler this size. Underneath the latches is a curved indentation to where you can strap things to it. You also have additional holes in the front and on the back for tying things to it, locking it, whatever you choose to do. Well, no, not locking it, but sorry about that. They're only on the top, so there's no way to lock it. The hinges. Now, this was one of the major complaints with this cooler that I've seen on Amazon and some other reviews about the bolts literally ripping out. and then it being useless. So there's a couple, I tried this anyways. And I've done that with some products, and then, you know, sometimes it's hit or miss. Sometimes you get a good product, sometimes you don't. Sometimes it happens to you, sometimes it don't. So I rolled the dice, I figured I'll give it a shot. The bolts were put in really well. They weren't stripped out or anything, so that's a good sign that they weren't over torqued or anything. So we'll have to see how it goes. There's a few things you can do. I'm not going to mess with it because it's got a 3-year warranty. So as long as it's under warranty, I'm not going to mess with it. If they rip out, they'll probably just send you out a new top. So that's fine. As far as underneath here, I'm not quite sure if these are just glued in here or what. I haven't seen any way to pop these off, but there is a metal pin that runs in here, so it's a pretty strong hinge. So I can only see the issue is them backing out. Now, after the 3 years, if I have problems or if I don't have problems, and that would happen, I would pull those out, fill that hole with 2-part epoxy, probably like marine grade just to be safe, and then put the screws back in and let it dry up. And at least you'll have some kind of a really solid, rigid repair for however long it lasts. In the back, same thing, raised Igloo, and underneath here you have a black diamond plate. It's a little hard to see. It's just, you know, the molded plastic. And underneath, a lot of people don't show underneath because, like, who cares about underneath, right? Well, it shows that it's indented here in the center, so it's raised off the ground. So it's the less it touches the ground, the better. So that way the heat won't transfer, you know, as much. It's still well on the sides, but at least you have a little bit of relief there. There's no rubber feet on the bottom. It's just these little indentations that maybe could grab something like gravel or sand or dirt or whatever when you put it somewhere, as far as it not sliding around or anything like that. Okay. We'll back up. I've shot this video a few times, so sorry if I repeat myself. I just want to make sure I cover everything. Up on the top, you have both a centimeter and inch ruler, another indented logo, and then a couple of indentations, which I think are just purely for aesthetics. Okay, let's check out the inside. Now the top. The top is kind of cool, kind of nice. It is indented in to give you more height to be able to store taller things inside this cooler. So it's kind of a neat feature and kind of not, because whenever you do that, you do take away from the insulating value. But it's a pretty thick cooler, the top. Obviously, it's thicker in some parts than others, but the way that it was designed, with it being thicker around the outer part and then just a little bit recessed on the inside, I think is a pretty cool design to try to utilize the best of everything, giving you more space but not losing too much insulation. There is a recessed indentation along here where you would think there would be some kind of a rubber seal, and there is not. Every cooler I've bought from them has no rubber seal. They're more held in place by friction, which has its pros and cons. The convenience of it is nice, because if it's a good tight seal, you don't have to mess around with having any latches. You can just close it and it's done, and it's sealed up. And it works pretty well as long as it's a tight seal. This one's, it's okay, you know, and they give you the extra latches to really wrench down on it. But again, it's just okay, especially in comparison with the last one, which was extremely tight fitting, really nice top. So on this one, I think I'm going to take and get a 3/8, maybe just like a quarter though. You don't want to go too thick and then have issues because of that. So something just to give it just a little bit of squishiness here, just to try to seal in any little minor air gap. There is some roughness around the mold here on the top where it does seal. So in here I would take a piece of sandpaper and sand that smooth so you get a nice seal and you're not tearing up if you do decide to put a foam or a thin rubber gasket in there. Now the hinges on the inside, you can see they're they're notched in there. So they are seated rather well, and I'm assuming that they're probably glued. I know you shouldn't assume, but I'm going to. So that design to me looks pretty good, looks pretty hefty. Again, I don't really see too many problems with the hinges other than the screw situation. Okay, so inside here, you know, obviously it's just a deep box. And I'm going to grab my tape measure, and just so we are accurate on that, so I'll be right back. Okay, I didn't know my tape measure was sitting next to me. Smart, huh? Alright, so we are at, I'm going to be a little conservative, and I'm going to say just over 11.5 inches deep. But then when you add in the top, this is probably where you get the 13 something. Because it's probably like an extra 2 inches. Okay, so what does that all mean? Well, let's throw some stuff in here and see. So, this is a pretty universal measuring device, I think. It's ice mountain bottles. They are the 12-ounce bottles from Walmart. So throw those in there. And then another universal measuring device. Oh, maybe those are 16. These are 12 fluid ounce Gatorade bottles. So you can see. I'll just double check my calculation there. Yeah, those 16.9 fluid ounces. So you can see you got quite a bit of room left in there. And actually, with the Gatorade bottles, if you put them like that, oops, they will fit. Obviously, you got to stay within that area there, but they will fit. So that nice little bump up there for taller drinks or whatever. I don't have a 2-liter bottle, sorry. I try not to drink a lot of pop. So I can't really use that as my measuring device for you. Oh, excuse me. Man, I've been sneezing like crazy lately. Alright, anyway, let's see. Nope, won't go quite on top of that. But again, yeah, I mean, you got tons of room. You know, you got to leave in room for ice and stuff. But you could probably, this is, 3, 6, 9, 12. I'm going to guess you could probably do about 15 bottles of Ice Mountain if you really need it. I mean, because you could use this too as just your beverage holder if you're camping, and then use your other one for your food because you open for beverages more often. But for a kayak, for a day out on a kayak, this should be plenty big. Plenty enough room for ice, plenty enough room for drinks, snacks, you know, fruit, whatever you bring. If you need to use Tupperware containers, there's just plenty of room in there. It's a nice, generous size cooler. One of my friends thought it was too big for the kayak, but I think, you know, my kayak's pretty good size, so I think it's going to fit in really well. And it's going to be worth it because when you're out on the lake, and I usually go all day, so if you're out there all day long, and especially if it's 90-something degrees out there, you need something that's really going to hold that ice. Because of the darker color, too, it does heat up more so than the lighter coolers. The lighter coolers, you get like an extra half a day out of those because it reflects the light rather than absorbs it. So. Okay, so overall, what do I think about this cooler? For the money, okay, it's anywhere depending on where you shop and what you buy, what color, what size, whatever. But for the 25, it's in between $55 and $70. Is it worth the price? Well, right now I could say yes because of the build quality, the features, the styling. It's got everything I like. I can't test anything right now. I'm just trying to give you my impressions right now of these coolers, just seeing them firsthand, rather than on a web page. But I will be testing them in the summer when it's nice and steamy freaking hot so you can see how well they do. But I just wanted to give you a little peek into this. So if you have any questions or comments, let me know. I'll do my best to help you. This one too, the only bummer on this one is there's no type of rail on either side or all the way around or nothing. So for any type of basket type thing, you'd have to just get like your own basket and just set it on top of everything instead of having it suspended. But still, for its intended use, it's going to be fine, more than what I need. All right, so stay tuned. I have another cooler coming up. I think you're gonna like that one. It's a really popular cooler. It is very, very cool, and so that should be cool. All right, thanks for staying tuned. I hope you enjoyed the video, and stay tuned. I will see you on the next one. Take care.